Hi everyone and welcome to Havenwood, our brand new small town detail build. Today on Jacob's Village we're starting a brand new build. This will be small town focused and heavily detailed, trying out lots of cool mods and hopefully giving you guys a build that you can get involved with and follow along. So if we go over now and check out this cool map with these cinematics I've put together, you can see it's a brilliantly put together map by Rafterman with some amazing detailing. It's got some cool mining areas with rocks, lakes, lots of well placed vegetation, and alongside that it's got lots of farmland which is heavily detailed with some barnyards and lots of industrial props, and it looks amazing. I can't wait to jump in and get started on this build. It looks stunning. For this build we're going to go for an American old town feel with lots of small town nestled around both farmland and the mining settlements, which are cleverly placed on this map. We're also going to be playing around with some new mods that we've found and that people have developed. Some cool creators have put together some awesome mods, especially the road build up. That is game changer, so we'll be checking that out a little bit later on, have a little play around with it, see if we can make it work. So I've got some great ideas, lots of cool tools. It's going to be fun, so stick around until the end to see what we put together. Right, so let's jump in and get started, and you can see here we've got a cool funky little grid here to start with, so it's going to be interesting when we're buying tiles going forward, but that's part of the fun. That's why I haven't just had all the tiles unlocked. We're starting with a budget and we've got everything, all the buildings, everything unlocked just to give us freedom with our heavily detailing going forward. We're going to start with getting the roads in to begin with, and I imagine that we're going to have kind of our main downtown area here. I'm going to move over here though, and we're going to put a small town in this area. So the first thing I do need to do is go in and get some of our roads in, and this is where we can play around with our new road builder tool that we've got here. So if we click on this road, you can see over on the right here we've got cool loads of features that we can play around with. So before we play around with any of those, the first thing I am going to do is go in and just upgrade some of these roads along here, because at the moment they're all highways, so we can't really do much with them at the moment. So we're going to go in, upgrade all of these quick. We might have to take out some of these fence lines, and we're not going to upgrade a ton of these, just a few either side like that. Nice. And then I imagine down here that we're going to have, we can play around with this a little bit later on, but just to get us started, we're going to go for the 3-lane asymmetrical. The plan being is I would like 2 roads or 2 lanes coming in to our main downtown area. So we're going to go in, let's drag this all the way along, get that finished off. Right, so now we've done that, we're going to have a little play around with the road builder mod, and this creation is amazing. It is really cool, and you can see here all the options we've got. Little things like you can widen the footpath on this side, and the only thing that I don't like with this just yet is we get little weird finishes like this, which is not great. I wish it would move everything across and snap a bit better there, but I'm not going to be too picky at the moment. So some of the tools we're going to have to be careful with. If we're going for detail, we're going for something that looks a little bit more realistic. What I would like to do along here is get cycle lane, and I think this is where it's going to get a little bit more tricky, because what I'd like to do is click here. If I drag this down to this side and we get a median in there, see this lines up nicely, but as soon as we could even make this, I'll tell you what, I could even make that 1 there, and again, is that lined up nicely? Oh yeah, not really. So I'll make that 2 there, and then what I'd like to do is get in a little shoulder like this. So put a shoulder here. See, it gives you this really weird clipping that I'm not a big fan of. I'll tell you what, if I make this 1 and I make this 2, does it balance out? If I come out of that now, yeah, look at that. We can't have that. I mean, I was hoping to get or make this into a cool little cycle lane, but I just don't think it's going to work. Even if we go in now and we make this just 1 meter. Yeah, I think we need to take this shoulder out. If we take that out, see, it doesn't look too bad then. It looks okay. I mean, I could always, now I've got that in, I could always make this a little bus lane or cycle lane here. It's really narrow though. Oh, I don't know. I could also though, if I take this out, this median, I could also put another lane in here and then make the right lane a cycle lane. And then cars can also use it as well. I don't know. Not sure. Not sure. I mean, I could, because this is, I've got these cool, I'll show you them now. I've got these cool little colour tools here. Now, if I wanted, I debate whether I could put a little narrow lane in like this. And if we just put it up to here for now, drag that across, then drag it back again. How do I feel about that for a little cycle lane? Could I get some arrows and put them in down there? Now that would be cool. Let's see if I can find them. Alright, and I found these little NA car bay lane. That could work all the way down this road. If I just click this and drag this out, it snaps nicely to that. Right, let's turn that off. What do you think? That looks pretty cool. I really like that. We might just have 2 lanes all the way down each side now and have a cycle lane each side. I really like that. I might even have a bus lane on this side. Let's see what that would look like. Let's bring up our road builder again, and if we put a bus lane in here and then remove this one, oh, got to delete that, we can't drag that. There we go. What do we think? 1 lane there and a bus lane there coming in. I don't mind that too much. I think that looks okay. And then we can have, well, we could even do it the other way around, have 2 lanes. I can swap this in a second, but have 2 lanes coming into town, 1 being a cycle lane, and then we can have 1 lane coming out of town, or 2 lanes coming out of town, 1 of them being a bus lane. So we just have 1 lane effectively coming out of town. Let's play around with that now, and I'll get that set up and I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished. Right, so I think that looks good, and I think that's how we're going to have it. I think it looks great. We're going to go in now, get our cycle lane in down here, and we'll see how that looks. So now we've got the colour in. We're going to go in, grab our North American car bay lane, drag this all the way down. Right, there we go. That looks good. I will extend this out later on. Also downloaded some more new mods, and you'll see we've got these cool little symbols here. So we've got a bike symbol. I don't know if there's a way we can make this a little bit smaller, but we're going to try and fit this in here somewhere. Maybe I made the lane a little bit small, but put that in there. And then we've also, if I scroll up here, we could put in, we've got different size ones. I think I've got a small bike symbol. We can squeeze that in there. And then I've also got one that says only as well. So we can have bike only. That's pretty cool. So that's our little cycle lane put together there. The great thing with our new road builder mod here, you'll see the roads we created come up here. And if we also click down here, we should be able to, if we scroll across, there it is, our road that we built at the start. So if I now go in and upgrade this, let's take snapping off, we should be able to line it up all the way down. There we go. That did cost me nearly 10 grand, but there we go. It was worth it. We got the exact roads in place that we wanted. There you go. That does look pretty cool. We'll press play and we'll continue the build. Next thing we're going to do is reinsert our, I had to get that straight a minute ago. We're going to reinsert our cycle lane all the way down. We might just widen it a little bit to get in our symbols that we wanted. Yeah, as I'm putting this in, I'm thinking this is great having this color mod. It does look pretty cool. But as I add more roads and intersections in here, I think it's going to be a lot of effort maintaining and having to adjust the color zoning every time. But we're going to stick with it. It's worth it. Remember, this is a heavy, detailed mod, so it's what we've signed up for, guys. And we'll get the only one in here as well. There we go, I've made that the right size this time. That looks pretty cool, and we'll rinse and repeat at the other end as well. There we go, that's our bus and cycle lane finished all the way down. I'm happy that looks pretty good. So next thing I want to do before we start any of our buildings is get in all our electricity, sewage and water pumps, everything that we need so that the city can run smoothly and we can put some buildings in without any issues. So we've got a transformer in there, we've got some underground power lines going all the way to the outside. We decided not to put them above the ground, it was just too much work and too much to get it all the way connected to the outside of the map without ruining the detail that was already there. So we can change that later, we're going to leave that as it is. We put our water pump in here. We might move this, but we're going to put this as a kind of a little entrance point here. It's going to be primarily at the edge of our town. I think that's a good little feature to have on the corner there. And then we put our sewage right in the corner of the map. We can deal with that a little bit later on. I imagine our first town that we're going to put together here, nestled in this little area where we have a little bit more space coming off this road here. So this is going to be the main entrance point to our first small town. And I imagine for some old towns that they used to start with a church and that would be the main focal point of the town back years and years ago. So we are going to go in here to our death care and take a look at what we've got. And having a look across here, and we don't want anything too big, we want it to be a fairly small building. If we unclick that, we've got, what have we got here? Chapel and cemetery. That's pretty cool. It's got a little bit of parking out the front. I quite like that. We've got this one here, Calibrium. Can't even say it, but let's pretend it says that. That's quite nice. I don't know if that looks a little bit modern though. We've got a town chapel. Again, that looks very good. What size is that? That's 8 by 8. Our cemetery, chapel and cemetery here, which has got both combined. I think that might be a slightly better option. What's the upkeep on it? 500 more. I'm not really worried about that. We've got a city chapel. I think, let's take that off. I think that's going to be too big. And our crematorium here. Yeah, we're going to go for the chapel and cemetery. If we try and get this, oh my god, that's bright. Take that off. We'll try and get this roughly in the middle. And if we take that off, nice. I quite like that as a starting point to our town. That is cool. We're not going to have to do much to change that, which is nice. And if I'm thinking how the town's going to look next to that, I'm thinking there's probably going to be a little school, maybe a little nursery. So let's go in and find our schools now. So what I'm imagining here is that we have a school right next to it. So we're going to grab our small elementary school. And I think these new buildings are great. This one's quite low, which I like. It's not too big and it won't be coming for the whole city in terms of its look. So I think if we snap that in there. Now that does look pretty cool. I like how that looks. And we've got parking at the front of the chapel here. And what I'd like to do is grab our custom parking that we have here using our invisible pathway and dragging this all the way down. Let's put this here, and then if I bring this across, there we go. Nice. We can have parking all the way along the back of our elementary school here. That's pretty nice. I will have to go in and flatten this ground out to make sure that our lines actually stay in here. So let's terraform this quickly. Right, so now I've got that in and cleared. We're going to go in, detail up our car park, put some maybe little booths in there so the school has their own private car park. That's what we're imagining. See how that looks. Yes, that's our car park detailed up. I'm really happy with how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. We've got lots of cool skid marks, lots of dirt marks. I don't know if I've gone over the top with the dirt, but let me know if I have. For a clean, pristine school car park, I wouldn't expect it to look like that. We put a little booth around the front here with some barriers, making it look a little bit more private. I think that's pretty cool. We are going to go in and quickly put in here new symbols that we've got. If we get like this one here, which is like let's get the smaller one, and we'll put it here, school. And then have we got a parking one? Yep, we've got a parking one there from before, so we can put that like that. And then we do actually have a smaller school parking, which I think I'm going to use. I think does look much better. And we'll drop our smaller one in here. Nice. And then I will, just to top it off, just because we're going for heavy detailing, I will go in and grab our arrows here, and we're driving on the left in this build. Right, nice. That is a pretty cool school car park there, and we're going to hope that lots of people use it. So that's our school finally finished. I do like how that looks. I like the little decals and also the coloured staff and disabled bays we've got in there. I think that's pretty cool. I think that makes our city quite unique. And then we've got our cycle lane coming all the way down here. And I like all the little different colours. It's really starting to take shape. It's not going to be just a boring bland city. It's going to have lots of colours and it's going to be quite vibrant, hopefully. Right, so now we've got our chapel and cemetery in there, which I imagine is going to be the focal point of our small town here. We're going to go in, clear some of this vegetation out, and we're going to start to put in some medium densities buildings just along the side here. So I imagine we're going to have one road that comes down here. This is going to be our central road. So let's grab our 2-lane road here, and we're going to connect this. Yeah, we'll get roughly central, and we're going to drag it all the way down here. Let's put it about there for now. I'm going to make that 2-lane. I don't know why I selected the 3-lane asymmetrical there. Right, so that looks good opposite the church, and I actually don't mind just leaving in that cycle lane there. I think that's fine. We can probably get away with just leaving that in. I don't think it looks too out of place. I think it looks okay. So before we put our medium density in, we are going to be hand placing. This is obviously a heavy detail build, and I would like to put everything in manually to get the exact look that we want. And I imagine here that we're going to have some commercial buildings, maybe a couple on each corner as kind of a corner store, something like that. With maybe some flats above, and they're going to be a little bit taller, some of our taller buildings, but that's the kind of thing we're looking for here. So I've decided for the corner here, I've grabbed our 3x3 and a commercial gas station, and we're going to put that on the main road there on the corner. Every small town has their own unique little gas station, so that looks good. We've got a little gas station on the corner there. I am going to go in. I don't think I can delete. Yeah, I can't delete the signs on there, which is a shame, but what I can do is go in, and I've got these cool little ads here. Oh yeah, I reckon we can cover that up. I've got a little shell one. Perfect, that looks pretty cool. We can do the same on this side. Nice, that looks pretty good. That looks cool. I like that. And what I'm hoping I can do, using our color mod here, we click on it, and is that the blue there? If I change that to like a yellow, yeah, nice. I like that a lot. And then can I change the beams to like a red? That looks good. We've got a yellow roof and we've got a shell building, so that's pretty cool. That fits nicely now. We're going to run a hedgerow along the back here, just so that it fits in nicely. And I think it's the scruffy low one, or was it the neat one? Let's try both. Yeah, I think. Oh, is it that one? Not sure. Is it that one? Not sure. We're going to stay with that. Maybe it's not. And then along the front here, we're just going to get some little bushes in. There we go. That looks cool. Got a little town gas station. I'm just taking a quick look here where the cars would actually drive and how much space we've got, and I imagine here that we could fit in, these are only small, I think we have plenty of room here. I imagine that we could fit in here, maybe inside the hedgerow we could fit in some advertising if we tuck this along here, making sure we don't snap it to any buildings. Try and align these up and get them straight. We'll have one there, and then we'll do the same this side as well. That looks pretty cool. And then we can use some of our new, and what we have got, we go to our wall decals here. We've got lots of cool little signs that we could use. Let's go and try our, what size we're looking for. Small ones. If we have a look at what we've got an Amazon, which at the moment I can't see. Let's try and turn this around. Can I zoom in anymore? Or let's put it on this side. It's a bit darker, this one. Ah, there you go. See, you can see it a little bit better now. Got the Amazon video. I don't know how I'm lining this up. I think I've done a good job of lining that up there. So that looks pretty cool. We've got this one here. This is a bit brighter. This one says, imagine a place. So that's Discord. Something that my channel could do with having. And then we've also got McDonald's billboard. Let's grab that. Put that in over here. Right, snap that in on there. There, nice. That looks pretty cool. When those shadows go the other way, you'll be able to see those much clearer when that sun changes direction. But yeah, that's cool. We've got some cool little billboards in there, and that's quite realistic and up to date with the modern times as well, which is even better. So fantastic. We're just looking at what commercial buildings we could put on the corner here. We've got our mixed row zones mod that we've got, some of the buildings, and they just don't look quite right. It's not quite what I'm looking for. And then if you've got the actual mixed buildings, they are far too big. Even if you go up and grab some of our smaller ones here, yeah, they're just too tall. I don't really want anything that size in this small town. So I'm going to have to go in and find a more suitable building here. I found this 5x5 in a commercial. And if we take a look at it, that's a little bit more of what I'm looking for. Well, we'll go in and delete all the signs off of it, including these. We'll probably delete everything off top roof here. I've got everything deleted off that roof. Now the plan is to go in and find some medium density buildings. I will quickly, I think because of the road builder tool, it has made a little gap here between the road and our buildings, and the zoning that is. So we're going to move that a little bit closer, and then I'm going to go in and find now some medium residential buildings. I found these 2x2 medium density buildings here, these EU ones. I think these are going to be quite fitting, so I'm just going to put two in here next to each other, and then the plan is, I'm hoping they line up nicely. The plan is to go in and use the move it mod here. Do I need to move them back a little bit? I think they're actually okay where they are. Just move them across into the correct place here. Let's put it about there in the corner, and then we're going to try and move this one into the same place. I think that looks pretty decent. I will actually move these across this way a little bit more. There we go, as close to even as possible, and that's quite nice because they're now sitting in the middle of that, so that's fantastic. So we've got our commercial shop underneath, and then we've got our medium density above, and that's quite a nice look. I like how that actually looks as a main focus point to our city. We're going to go in, remove all these little things that we don't really want out the front. Now let's build up. So deleted all the sub elements. I've tried to delete all the little things inside, like the benches. I don't want people sitting inside buildings. That's going to look really, really weird. And then what I might do here, now that's done, is go in and get some parking along the back. that whole plot there with our commercial building and 2 medium density buildings overlapping looks really cool. I'm loving all the vegetation and the parking spaces. We did have to put in a walk-in zone or a visible walking path through there and along the back. That's why our roads have gone a bit funny, but I'm hoping I can put in some little detailing in here anyway, and this car park will look really cool. So let's go ahead and do that now. And there we go, that's our car park complete. I really like that. We've got the little dumpsters in here with the no parking zone out the front. We've put little decals, parking ones, disabled with a different disabled base. I think that looks pretty good for a car park. I like how that looks. But I found this small town called Greenfields in Indiana, and I've been using this as a little bit of a guide just to look around and see what a small town would look like. And you see we're probably no more than 3 or 4 stories high. That's probably the max. Most are 2 or 3. And then look at that, we've got a church in the center of our town, so that's pretty cool. It's quite a tall one, but it's pretty cool that we've got that church as our main feature. If we go along here a little bit, hopefully see what it's like. Lots of commercial stores with what looks like flats above it. So yeah, we're going to hopefully keep that theme going in the heart of our city. And then if we were to just quickly go down here, we've got a few more commercial buildings, offices. Same here. What building is this here? This is a little fire station. And if we continue on going down this road, you'll see the buildings get smaller. We get a little bit more green. There was a police station on the right there. Then as we come down, we've got our smaller houses, our low density homes down here. So this is kind of what we're trying to follow. And you can see we've got smaller tarmac roads here. So we're going to get smaller alleyways as we go along. So yeah, this gives us a good idea of what we're trying to achieve, the theme we're trying to achieve. And we might have some of these sort of green shoulders with the sidewalks away from the road as we build out our small town. So the first thing I'd like to do is get a little road in here, and I'd like to put a road along the back here coming down the back of this one. And then I would like to have a little alley coming back here, just a small road, otherwise we're going to have too many big roads everywhere, and I'd like to keep some of the build quite small to give us that town feel. So let's take snapping off, and we're going to try and get this as close to that bush as possible. And then if we can get it at 90 degrees as well, something like that. That is as straight as I'm probably going to get it. So that looks pretty good. That just means we can put more buildings in here. We can change the road layout. We don't have to stick to that grid layout if we don't want to, although I'm probably going to sway towards that a little bit. So before we put in any of our medium density buildings along here, our residential ones anyway, we're going to go in, and I found this NA commercial low here I would like to put on the corner. I quite like the look of this and the fact that it's got a nice archway out the front. And we're going to try and snap this right into the corner here. Yep, that looks pretty good. I quite like that. It's got a nice little archway people can walk underneath. We will go in before we put any medium density buildings over the top here, because I like what we did here. We're going to kind of follow that theme going forward. We will take out all of these little details that we don't need. You'll see after I'm planning to put in some of my own advertising boards and things like that as well. We're going to remove again all the things off the roof, and I'm going to put my own little fencing around the back there in a little bit anyway. There you go. So that looks much better with everything cleaned out there and all those little elements we didn't need in. We can now, or we've now got a clean slate to put our medium density buildings over the top. I found this 1x4 row housing that I quite like. If we clip this in here, what I'm thinking we're going to do, because it's got quite a clean finish to it, so it does look really good. We're going to go in, we're going to delete both the surfaces from underneath. We're going to delete everything along the back here because this will just be inside the building, so we don't need any of this. Get rid of that. I don't think I can delete that. We'll leave that in there. We can leave them fans there. We can delete the bin, all the bushes. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I think that looks pretty clean. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and copy this using our copy and paste tool. So if we press Ctrl C, that brings it out. And then we're going to try and get these as close as we can together. Hopefully snapping them straight, having a small overlap. That looks about straight. And then we'll do the same process again. Slightly overlapping. Trying to get the entrances in line as much as possible. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And then we'll repeat that process. We'll go in, delete all of these. And then we should have 3 buildings next to each other. Right, nice. They look good. Now we're going to attempt to move all of these 3. So we're going to copy. We're going to actually try and copy all of these. And then will it let us, if we press paste, the only thing with the copy and paste tool is we can't delete all of the subsections. So we might have to go in manually. We come out of this now. If we go into our move it tool, we're just going to have to align them all manually. I am hoping that it's going to move that sign there. And what I'm trying to make sure here is that our windows, we'll see all the windows clearly and our walls don't overlap with the outside. So that looks pretty good. Let's get the next one and drag this one in. Trying to get a small overlap here. Have I got them in line? Oh, it needs to be slightly back. There we go, nice. And then we'll grab this one here and we'll do the same thing. So we've got a small overlap on this side. We might just have to go in and just readjust some of those. Right, there's a fair amount of tinkering there. We've finally got that finished. So I'm really happy with how that looks. I quite like those 3 buildings that we've put on the top there with the 2 extra levels. So we've got a commercial at the bottom with that nice little walkway kind of arch. We have a little doorway here. It doesn't look perfect, but you can kind of imagine that's a doorway. You see it work. You've got the windows here. They're not perfect, but I think the overall look of that building is really nice, and I'm going to leave it like that. That's quite cool. Gives us that kind of small town centre feel, quite summery vibe. I like it, so that's pretty cool. We are going to go in here though, because I imagine this being a little alleyway down the back. So we are going to go in here and we're going to just extend this out a little bit. Getting this to about 90. Yep, that works. I think it's straight. Yep, that's pretty cool. We'll have a little fence in there, maybe some bollards. We'll go in now and grab our invisible pedestrian path, and then what we can do, if I take off snap in here, I can snap this all the way down and we'll curl it in around here. Snap that up to there. That gives people another walkway that they can use. I'm going to go in here. I'm perhaps thinking of putting in a wooden fence, something like this one. And we can connect this up all the way down the back and along that walkway there. And I really like these 2x3 grid residential buildings. I think these look excellent, and we're gonna mix it up a little bit here. Rather than have them straight, we are gonna have these at a slight angle, and we're gonna try and get them as pretty much as close to the road as we can, and then up to our fence line that we built there. So that's the kind of look we're going for. We're going to go for, hopefully, if we try and line up the bush and then line up the edge of the building, just like that, and then we'll repeat that same process on each one. I would like 4 of these in here opposite our school. There we go. See how those look? That looks pretty cool. I like that. They are a little bit tall, but I quite like that. I can see that working and being fitting for the center of our city. So I'm going to go in now, detail these out, make them look good, and we'll see how they look at the end. Right, there you go. I think that whole complex is starting to look really cool. I like the brick wall that we've gone for here around the outside. Just kind of gives it that neighborhood feel, a little bit sort of more lower key. We've got a path that connects up to our car park here, and we've got a path that connects around the back, connecting up to our little alley around there. And we've kind of done sort of a runway of these lower lights, which should be quite cool at night to illuminate that footpath. And then you can't see because of the shadows at the moment. If I press play here, the shadows won't go away, but those look really cool. I have forgotten though, you see I've done it on the rest, forgotten to take off these little fans that I don't like the look of, which kind of spoils the look. So I've taken those off the front of all of those. We filled out the gap here. What I would like to do in here though is go in and put some sort of dumpsters in there, something of that nature. If we scroll down and try and find some of those, should have some of those in here. Right, so I found our trash containers here. What I will do is try and get them lined up pretty neat to the fence with a small gap between each one. That's fine. There you go. That looks pretty cool. I like that. What I will do along here is use these new lightly stained decals that I've got and just put a couple in here along the back, because this is going to be where the garbage is, so we're imagining that's a little bit more dirty, and we're going to do the same down here as well, all the way down our back alley. Right, there you go. That does look so much better how that is. gives it a little bit more of a lived-in feel to it. What we'll do along here though, put some cardboard boxes along this wall here, almost like deliveries have happened and they've been dropped off. There we go, that looks pretty cool. That's the start of our town. I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. I've already done a lot today. I could do this for hours, this detailing. I will put in some little final touches now though. So first thing I'd like to do for our final touches to finish this episode off, and we're just going to start where the town begins really. We could change this as we expand it, but I'd like to put this all the way around, and these are our new mods by the Broman, and we're going to put in some lightly stained roads there. I think that looks pretty cool, and we're going to repeat that. We're obviously going to have to be a little bit more finicky around this cross section, but let's go in and get all those put in now. There you go, so I've got all our stains in there on our road surfaces. They look really cool. I love how that looks. It gives it definitely a little bit more texture, a few more layers there, and it gives it that kind of lived-in feel. Like this is a small town, doesn't get cleaned up very often, doesn't have a lot of resources. So yeah, that is fantastic. That is really, really cool. I'm glad I've gone and downloaded those. So our church here is also looking rather bland. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use that exact same thing I've just done there. We're going to stain this whole surface. Yeah, that looks much better already. I'm going to add some little detailing in here as well. I might put some trees out the front. We've got these, I'll show you now. Yeah, we've got these cool little tree grates that we're going to put all along the front here. First of all though, we're going to get a little tree line in here. We're going to maybe pick, what trees would we use here? Let's maybe grab these little linden trees here. If we grab our line tool and drag this across, maybe have a slightly bigger gap with these. So if we draw those across there out the front of the church, I think that looks much better. So I'll grab our grates we've got here, and we will try and get these put exactly underneath each one. There you go, that looks pretty nice. I haven't got it dead straight, but I don't think that matters too much. There you go, and that looks way better. It just gives that church a little bit more life now out of that front entrance. So the next thing we're going to do, and this is something I don't normally do, we are going into a heavily detailed build, is we're going to change the street names. So this one we'll keep it simple. This is going to be our main road for the whole build. So we'll keep it simple and call this Havenwood Avenue. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and create a district around this whole area. We're just going to keep it simple. We're not going to be too fancy to start with, because we are going to heavily expand this area out over the next few episodes. Right, there we go. Walnut Town. Not a fan of that. If you can think of a better name, let me know, because we're going to name the church and the school after that as well. So if you can come up with a better name, please put it in the comments below. So the last thing we do is we're going to go in and add some graffiti to this wall here. We're just going to grab some random ones, we're going to overlap them. There we go, that looks pretty cool. Nice little feature wall that we've got there. So to finish off the build, like we did here earlier with our billboards, we're going to go and repeat that process, and we're just going to add some to the tops of our buildings. Like we've got some space here, we can probably have 1 or 2 billboards along the back there. So we've got some of our billboards in there, and they look really cool. I like how they look and the placement, and the small ones here fit on the side of the buildings. Nice. And the good news is we've got, and Sully's put together some cool billboards here, or posters for the billboards that you can use. So we've got the small ones here on our small billboards, and the trick here is to make sure we get it nicely aligned. I don't know if there's an easier way to do this. There we go, that looks pretty decent. I don't know if there's a way to get that better lined up, but that's going to have to do for now. And then we're going to try and get a different post up on all of these. There you go, nice. It's not perfect, but hopefully you guys can forgive me for the small outlines that we have. And then that one there. Not too bad. Imagine it's a border, the orange bit around the outside. You have to use your imagination a little bit. And then these ones, I believe, are these going to be medium? Yes, they are. So you've got the Apple Vision Pro headset one here. Try and get this one straight too. There we go, nice. And then we'll rinse and repeat on the others as well. There we go. That looks pretty cool. I love how that looks. So let's press play. We can watch all of our new citizens come in as our population starts to grow. As our people come in and our city starts to grow, I mean, you can see the cars coming in now. We haven't increased our population yet, but what I need to make sure I do, especially with our buildings like this one that we've specifically placed because of how it looks, we are going to have to make sure that building is locked. We'll do that for all of these ones as well, because I don't want these to change. And here come our first residents now, just about to move in. I mean, I hope they've got their disabled badge displayed, otherwise they shouldn't be parking there. That's our first person just about to move in now. We're going to follow him so we can follow his journey as the build goes on. And it's Biff Keller. So people are moving in, they're flocking to Hazelwood. So don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the build and you want to follow the journey, click that like button. Really helps me out. Smash the subscribe button so you don't miss another one. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.